Hello everyone, it's Free to Play Bust. We're getting ready to start up expedition number 18. We got this big goose egg from the previous one with that Heimerdinger Fiora deck that just really didn't come together well. So let's see if we can't get some redemption in Trial 2 here. And so let's see. I don't really like these Karma packs. If this was a Zed, this pack would be much more interesting. But I think these do kind of turn out okay. Not as the recall deck, but as the rare card in Ionia that allegiances to put 2 units in play. It's not a bad start towards that kind of deck. But I think we're looking more towards either this Fiora or this Heimerdinger. This is a pretty strong Heimerdinger pack, starting with the Apprentice, and then Transmogulator's a very powerful card. Turning one of your turds into the best unit on the board. But this Fiora pack is just a little bit safer. It's got Fiora along with the what I think is probably the best challenger, and then just a 3-mana combat trick. All should play pretty well. Similar to what we ran into last time, you get the start out with the combat interaction pack, and then just run into spells decks. This Fiora stack Suit Up is Demacia plus Freylord, so this does kind of look interesting here with the cloning program, just as kind of a secondary way to go. Then again, I don't really want to end up in that same. This is the same stack we ended up with last round that just did not play well. The Spellbound Heimerdinger along with Suit Up and Fiora, and I thought the deck was fine, but it didn't really come together well. If we'd taken that Heimerdinger in the previous pick, we would definitely be excited for this one, but I don't think that's going to play well. Kind of the awkward thing with this Thresh pack is it should technically kind of play well with Fiora. Problems being Shadowlands and or Shadow Isles and Piltover both don't have combat tricks. The Piltover one there's only one, and it costs 3 to give attack plus quick attack, and then Shadow Isles gives ephemeral, and so it really just doesn't play well with these the challenger deck that you're trying to end up in. Although you would kind of imagine that with Thresh and seeing the units die, they might play well together, but there's a different one. You're looking more for, there's a Callista pack that plays well with Fiora. It was kind of where our deck looked like it wanted to go last run, where we had the 3-cost Gao that when a unit dies, you draw a card. But I just don't think this is what we're trying to pull off with our deck. I'm going to take the this cloning program stack and hope it doesn't keep trying to send me into cloning program. Okay, so let's see how this pans out. Don't want this Iceborne Legacy. The cloning program, when you take Freylord, does try to push you towards Elnux. And Romfang Wolf is extremely powerful, but I don't want a dead card this early. And I don't know how the picks go, but I'm going to take this Suit Up pile and see if that just leans us more towards Suit Up. I don't know if there's some kind of like percentages that play in the background with the packs you get, or if it's just kind of random. But here, this is a reasonable pick. Battling Bjerg is just always good. Just great value unit. I really like the Yetis because they're good both early and late. You can't play it early, but they get cheap if it's in your opening hand. We aren't doing Poro stuff, and this is also a reasonable pack. Although I don't like First Blade in this kind of deck, so I'm just going to take this value pack over here with the Bjerg and the Yeti. And here we aren't doing Elnix, so we can just ignore this. This is going to come to whether we want Stalking Wolf in the Barrier or a Flash Freeze in the Bjerg. And these all play more towards what we're doing in the Suit Up deck with the Challengers and the Fiora. Okay, we're ignoring this one. We're not doing spell deck things. It's going to come down to if we want a third barrier in this expensive challenger, or if we want on guard and detain. I think we're going to be looking to take on guard and detain. I always want, whenever I'm playing Demacia, I always want one or two detains in my deck. I don't really think these are going to show up when we're in like Suit Up plus. Well, Suit Up is our only Demacia stack. And so I would be happy with more prismatic barriers, but I think we really want to pick up this detain. And then On Guard still plays okay. I mean, putting On Guard on a Bright Teal Protector and getting a unit's fine, or getting a value trade with the Bjerg, that's okay spell. Okay, we're going to continue on with these prismatic barriers. Again, I don't like these two expensive card stacks. This is kind of a reasonable one over here, actually, now that we're looking at it again. We only have the two drops, we have three at this point, but War Chefs plays extremely well with all of the challenger units, just let you pick off their cheap stuff. I think I've talked myself into taking this 2-drop pile. Now, let's see, I am kind of interested in this, because looking at these other ones, I don't want, this is not a deck that does Yetis or need this giant dude. We are currently kind of lacking in giant dudes, but Yeti and Anivia should be good enough at this stage of the draft. I don't like this first blade, and so I think I really am interested in taking this. We do spend a lot of time passing with spell mana up, because we're going to attack with Fiora and kind of rep a combat trick and see what happens. So we do have a lot of spell mana up to try, and this will also help find Fiora and Anivia. Stalking Wolf's a good one. I think this will be a pretty decent set here. And it continues on. I do really like a Chain Vest in these challenger decks. Like Chain Vest plus War Chefs just lets you really pick off their units kind of at will. But I think the War Chefs is just much stronger than these two combined. We already have two Stalking Wolves. And War Chefs just plays so well with our early game. Here we're going to skip this Elnick. It's going to come down if we want a Flash Freeze and a giant unit, or a back-to-back and another First Blade. I think we're just going to want this middle set here. We don't really have much top end, and so we do kind of want at least one Alpha Wildclaw. And Flash Freeze does very much the same thing as Prismatic Barrier. I really like it how it just costs 3 mana, so if you're fully banked on spell mana, you just have access to it. Would like back-to-back, but I think the combination of these two are just stronger than this turd we don't want in back-to-back. In here, this is looking like a great pack, but let's see. Like, I don't want these Poros. The barrier is fine, but we're kind of good at that point. We would play a third barrier if it comes up, but we do have the 2 barriers and a Flash Freeze at this point. Really interested in this Chefs and Detain. And this isn't a She Who Wanders deck. This is if you're in the control deck. Yeah, pretty cool with that. Let's see. This is actually pretty interesting. I always like having access to 4 Demacia is pretty big. And then it also just has these other challengers. We can't really do challenger things with this, but they do, or I'm sorry, we can't do elite things with this Vanguard, but it's a pretty reasonable unit how it's statted. We aren't doing this control deck stuff, and I think I'm kind of convinced on this. It's just more early drops. Having 4 Demacia with all our challengers is pretty huge. I think I'd be pretty happy with this. Here, this is a great pack. I really like Protege. I think he's the best challenger. These aren't really doing things that we want, and we have enough challengers in this draft where we don't have to count on Silverwing Scout to deal with elusive units. Mighty Poro's kind of whatever. Like, compare Mighty Poro to Vanguard Sergeant. Like, either you get a 4 Demacia or you have a unit with Overwhelm. Like, it's just Mighty Poro is just not a great unit. This last stack is interesting, but I don't think we really need it. think we're going to be happier with just these cheaper choices. It basically comes down to do you want a Protege or a Swiftling Lancer? And I think we just want the Protege. And here, I don't want this. I do really like Icevale Archer, especially in this kind of deck we're doing, but I don't want Shatter. We don't have enough Frostbites for it to be good. We don't want this pile either. So, I don't like playing Cytherea unless we're in Elites. I much prefer the 1-drops that do stuff. Whether it be one of the Last Breaths or Fleet Feather Tracker, she just doesn't do enough. So we're just going to take this. We are kind of lacking on top end. We just do need a little bit more top end, and Vanguard Cavalry is fine for that. And Relentless Pursuit can do quite a bit with our challengers. And then what do we swap? These are all pretty close, actually. On Guard isn't great in our deck. I think you kind of prefer to have On Guard when you're in, say, like Elites, where you have big value dudes, but not a way to really interact with them. And so that would be a fine trade. The Entreat for Brittle Steel would also be fine. Entreat doesn't do a whole lot in our deck. But I think I'm really leaning towards this Marksman and the Riposte. Really kind of, we're in a big challenger deck, and we don't have, it's currently our only way outside of War Chefs to boost our challenger's attack. Right now we're just kind of counting on our challengers to attack things that have the same power, and we really kind of need things that can really boost us up. So I'm going to swap in for this Riposte. The Marksman doesn't seem super exciting in our deck anyway, since we should just be challenging their low toughness units. Okay, let's get in this game 1 here. See if we can't do a little bit better than the last run. It's not hard to outperform a 0-win run. It's like Callista and Elise Spiders. And let's see. We do have 3 War Chefs in our deck. The deck tracker's not up again for whatever reason. Let's turn it on and see if it'll pick up for next game. But I'm really looking to have like War Chefs to go along with these cards. So I'm going to swap out everything except the Protege. He can hopefully kind of be our comeback card, and then we're just looking for cheaper plays that weren't the Sentry. Maybe we could have hung on to the Sentry. I'm just not excited about it against Spiders.
What's that noise? No, 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 no!
Okay, so we have to pass again, and then we're gonna lead out with these. Well, with him having this, let's see what he does. We might want to play our Vanguard Sergeant so we can challenge his horror.
I must get out of here.
Okay, he doesn't let us do it, so we'll start with a Protege here.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
Okay, don't care about that. We can deal with it at some point if we want. It's something pretty good to hit with Fiora. But kind of in the openers here, if he's going to be playing spells and doing stuff, we really want him to kind of have to invest in the Protege first, because we aren't really in a spot to be going big with Fiora. But we can play her on his turn and start having her be protected. Like we protect her on his turn with Riposte. We can attack Prankster on our turn, and then if we need to at some point we can put the barrier up. She'll be pretty good to start playing in this following turn. Sure. Then I'll also here, if he tries to get cute on his turn and play a unit first instead of open attacking, like this should be a bad spot for him, right? Like open attacking here doesn't seem great. It seems a lot better now. So how do we want to approach this? I think we want to, we can protect our protege.
My shield is yours.
So that we should only be taking 3 here. We can block his whole board, and then we're going to look to drop Fiora after and start attacking his prankster.
I'll stop you. Shield up.
This is fine. We're just kind of in that spot to where as long as we don't die, we should win.
My duty.
I long for a word.
She gets Black Speared. This is pretty awful, but I think she's kind of really our only choice here. And then I'm definitely willing to get into combat.
Run them hardly fair.
This might be a game when we're going to riposte if he really tries to interact with Fiora here, but we might just be looking to lean on Anivia. That's a bit annoying, but nothing we can do about it.
Protect House Laurent.
I don't really want to detain this, but it might be what this is coming down to.
A Demacian soldier is worth tenfold.
Strength and grace.
Just wanting to spend all our mana. But we should be able to, as long as we don't die this turn, we should be able to handle this prankster. But I definitely do need to kill this before we start trying to attack with Anivia. I think we're okay with... I don't know, that's just pretty scary to not detain that. I think he's going to be going all in with this stuff here, and we can just play Anivia next turn.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
Sure, we can deal with Callista. The only bad thing here is we can't play Detain plus a spell. This is going to have to be good enough, I think. He's definitely attacking, so we can pass back to him. Oh, just this? That's more than fine.
Meet them head
Block
on.
with Detain.
Avenge me.
Okay, now we can really challenge this Callista here. We want to keep the 3 mana for the barrier, and then I'm pretty sure we'll just play Anivia before we attack. Just gonna kill my chefs, that's fine.
Here in your time of need.
Yeah, this should be a pretty reasonable spot. If Articuno dies, it should flip back on our turn, so we should be able to attack with it next turn. We have reasonable assortment of cards here to just deal with that, whatever he's trying to do. If you want to pull in Callista, you can just attack for free, and there's no reason to attack with our guy on detain duty. If he just kills our challenger, that's fine. That's fine as well. If we lose Articuno to some kind of removal spell, I think that's still okay.
Rend the skies!
Let's see it. You can't vengeance. You can vengeance it next turn. That all in all seems okay. I think we're going to be looking to riposte this. We do have the option to just flash freeze this. Even Entreat's just dead. Actually, this seems fine. If all we get to do is cancel his attack with this, it's fine. Articuno will kill all his units next turn. Pretty sure, yeah. Just total do nothing.
For my homeland!
We don't have any units, so this is all we can do. So it's going to be a slow grind here, but we really just need something to close out the game. Like not sure why I would attack there, because now he can't block when we open attack on our turn. Oh, I should have played War Chef. Shit. Oops. We're going to miss out on that 1 damage. Well, I think this is too much damage to ignore. Okay.
Flavor and spice. Batter 'em.
Let's soar!
And I believe this will heal our units.
No one goes hungry.
Not exactly sure, but when the turn ends, we should still have full health. Yep, good deal. I have to imagine the game's just over at this point.
Come closer. I don't bite.
Articuno on this seems like a pretty safe block. I guess, okay, I was gonna say, I guess he could have a bunch of mites or something, but it seems reasonable. Okay, let's see. These are kind of interesting. I do really like stacking up on Fiora's since her duplicate is riposte, but Anivia also has a good duplicate in Harsh Winds. But I don't really like this stack here. I don't really want these Bull Elniks anywhere near my deck. But these cards also stacked with Fiora are pretty weak. This is kind of an interesting Tryndamere, given that we do have the 1 Entreat, which really helps to get him, and we're really kind of needing some top end, as you could see in that last game. But this still is a pretty good stack. I'm really high on these Laurent Proteges, but we don't need 4 of them. So it really comes down to if we want the second Fiora to kind of pick up that riposte, because we don't really want any of these other cards, or if we want these Tryndamere cards. I think we just want these Tryndamere cards. I'm okay with 3 Prismatic Barriers. The Duelist is fine, and then he's just essentially the best top end there is. Like, he's so much better than Wild Claw or Yeti. So I'm okay with this Tryndamere set. Okay, on to the next one. Looks like he's in Yetis from the start. Well, let's see, I'm just going to keep the War Chefs and get rid of everything else. It's a reasonable opener. Deck tracker's definitely not working. Let me see, restart it. At any rate, let's keep this War Chefs going.
A fight's a cooking.
Great curve into Fiora with it.
Demacian border from here.
Feel the sizzle.
We'll take the trade here given the opportunity. We can't really do Fiora stuff for 2 turns. So not sure what kind of better block he expects to get out of this though. Okay. So our choice, we can play a Protector and get his I don't think we need to worry about these attacks, so we just take 3 from this thing and not care. We can get Fiora online on our turn and then Protector on the following turn.
I long for a worthy.
You're covered.
Ancient things trapped in the ice.
Okay, and we'll at least take the overwhelmed unit down here. Don't think there's a whole lot of value in attacking with the other stuff.
On down.
Like this will do better blocking, and I can't imagine he wants to attack on his turn anyways, but the Tyche will do better blocking. I don't want to have to spend a spell to protect those War Chefs. And our Yeti's getting real
Our
cheap
strength
here.
is yours.
Like this is probably the turn to play it. Keep his off guard from attacking and also get a sentry down.
Nothing escapes my watch. Avarosans, stand together! Today we fight
Absolutely.
as one!
Can't imagine he has like a spell there with 1 mana. Yeah, he can't like Brittle Steel or anything. Okay, and then we get very good attacks here. We can make Fiora a 4/4 challenge this without needing a spell.
Honor guide
And
me.
then at this stage, I'll trade any of our units for his sentry just to get it off the
No
board.
one goes hungry.
Look out for Reavers!
Try to avalanche me? Was that why he would put the damage on
2 down.
the 2/3? And he could have taken a value trade or an actual trade down here. Seems reasonable. I'll repost her when she gets avalanched. She's far enough along that we can reasonably consider killing him with Fiora.
Alert the village!
Yeah, that's cool. And then we can get this just big unit on board.
In formation.
I'd like to have the deck tracker over here. I restarted it. It kind of loaded, but it's not pulling up the thing. I don't know why I have so much trouble with this thing. I'll restart the client after this game and see if it pops back up. I push that little thing in the taskbar and it says game in progress, but I don't know what the deal is there. Okay, so I want to get this Warships online, and then we're probably just going to detain this. I don't think we really need to rush out in Anivia. 9, 10, 11. This is 1 damage short of killing him. It's going to have to be okay. Realistically, if we get this damage in here, then we should just be able to kill him with Anivia on our next attack.
Feel the sizzle! Eat up, friend!
There's probably a pretty good chance he has like a defensive parchment here. Oh. Cool. It should be pretty hard for him to come back from.
Fresh catch? Well, it was fresh.
Make an ephemeral. Okay. I'll get one of these proteges down. We should spend a bit of our mana here. It's pretty hard to get blown out by like Ruination or something when we're just going to try to win with Anivia.
It was right on my tail!
Sure.
Many tribes under one banner.
Don't particularly care. We can technically go ahead and get Anivia down. I don't think that's quite necessary at this point. We'll protect this, we just shut down his attacks again. And see if he just passes, we'll play Anivia at the end. Like if he plays Ruination into Anivia, we just win. Oh, cute, sure.
Till the end.
Player. There's a pretty reasonable chance that he doesn't attack since his attack is pretty bad here.
There will no match.
Okay, good deal. Okay. I'm not getting rid of our detain. I would like to have one. Well, we have 2. I'm good with the 2. I don't want to get rid of one of them for just a sentry. So it comes down if we want to trade On Guard for single combat, which seems pretty good. We don't have a whole lot of units that play well with On Guard. Like most of our early units just have it anyways, have Challenger anyways. And I don't think we really need to be having a plan where we're trying to drop On Guards on Tryndamere or something. And we don't have any single combats, so I'd be pretty happy to make this trade. I don't really like these Persuaders, so I'd be okay with just keeping the Duelist instead. Made the trade. Let me restart the client again real quick and see if... Okay, I'll push some buttons and it looks like Deck Tracker might come up. Let's see if this actually fills out. I don't know why I have so much trouble with this thing, but it is what it is, I guess. I was never a huge fan of Hearth Arena from the people that make this, but I don't know. Maybe it's a work in progress. We'll mulligan this all out. We're really just looking for like war chefs and 1-drops. Not a huge fan of these draws where it's like we're starting out with our first unit as Protege. We did pick up a war chefs. He's full Freylord, so I have to assume he's going to have a lot of Frostbites coming out of here.
Be Marcia!
We'll assume this is never. Oh, it is going to get an attack in. They shouldn't have anything that punishes it.
Pledge to Sejuani's service.
Sure.
Strength and grace, beauty in the blade.
So if he attacks, I'm okay with getting a block in on his thing. He didn't do it, which is fine. Let's
I've got your back.
get in some damage with this challenger. There's not a whole lot of scary units he can play behind. Like, do you really want to play Ash here? Probably not. We have a Frostbite. Should this get too scary? I don't see a lot of things going here. Taking a card for a no attack is fine with us. We still have a good attack with the chefs and the protector.
No one goes hungry!
You fool! We like a challenge.
That's fine. We can take 5 damage from this if need be. Or, you know, we can put protector in front of it. Like, this board just isn't scary. Okay, we're just gonna get our big dudes going. I have to assume he's going to play something here, but it doesn't seem like anything we particularly care about. And do we want to go ahead and entreat? I don't think so. I think we want to play the Wild Claw on our turn and then have Flash Freeze up. Maybe not anymore. Do we really want to barrier this down? I think probably do. But I don't think we need to use both spells. We can hook this in and see if anything cute happens with it. Let's see if he passes. If he passes, I could see him having like a back-to-back. Okay, don't particularly care about that.
I demand
Hook you in.
cavalry!
Get in with these. I'll save this. Well, that's probably okay. If he wants to make a value block on 3-2 and then just take all this to face, I think we're okay with that. Or if he wants to spend his Hawks and his Bjergs to block this stuff and get a value block here, we just decimate his board. I think we're okay with all that as well. And at this stage, okay to just let this die. If we ever need to challenge or something for 2 attack, then we can do it with the Vanguard. I don't know how to get this to refresh or something. He's not doing anything, so you can look at my settings. Okay. He just let himself die while we're messing around with our settings. That's fine. Not a lot happening there anyways. Okay, this would be a champion pack. Let's see, this is actually a pretty reasonable Tryndamere pack for what our deck's doing. Like, I do like more Fioras, but like his Battle Fury is huge. I really do like Battle Fury. It's incredibly powerful. Over here, we aren't really a War Mother's Call deck. This is just like if you're playing the Dirtily control deck. So it comes down if we want this Tryndamere pile or this Fiora pile. and both of these spells are extremely good. The Pledge is going to be a lot better than the Starlit Seer in our deck. And we haven't really been doing Fiora things. That could just be because of our lack of Fioras, and since we've been going into, we've played 2 Freylord kind of big dude decks 2 games in a row. But, like, this pile seems so much better, but I think we just want these early drops. The Starlit Seer is fine. We don't have a whole lot of 2-drops. We have just been hard mulliganing for these War Chefs, but if we're kind of stuck with a Seer, it's fine. My opinion on Seer is if he gets 1 spell off, then he's above average value. But yeah, I think here I just want to keep my curve low. I would like to have a Battle Fury, but it just doesn't seem quite necessary. But it's so powerful though, because if you're ever wider than your opponent, then I mean it's really hard to see 8+ burst damage just coming through. Okay, same thing. We'll look for the chefs. That's just this all in all good 2-drops. We didn't have any of there. The Bright Steel thing is a good 2-drop, don't get me wrong, but he's not. He's more of a support 2-drop. He's not someone that you want to play on 2. He's basically a barrier with a bonus. And Yetis? Oh yeah, let's get the chefs down. That's too cute. Like, if he has a combat trick, he has one, but I don't feel like it's incredibly likely here. And if we get a 2-for-1 with a combat trick, we're okay with it.
A chill in the air.
That's fine. We're gonna get this protege online. This was our plan anyways, but now it challenges all his attacks. The idea with this being is we're gonna have the 1 mana banked and then 4 mana next turn. And so
This is my opponent.
I'm gonna try to block this little one. I think if he had that Yeti making card, he would have done it already. But the thing with this is now we can play the Protector on our turn, have 3 mana banked up, and use this barrier if we need to.
I've got your back.
Okay, that's annoying, but fine. We're still just gonna go in and take down his unit.
I demand satisfaction.
Attack like this.
Honor guide me.
Hard, fair.
And then we'll just protect whatever he blocks with his Yeti with a barrier.
Eat up,
Assume he'll block the chefs, and then that should be a bad attack for him next turn.
Can't fight on an empty stomach.
All the world on one arrow.
Random Ash. How much do we care about this? Because we can play Yeti. If he attacks, he'll Ash the Yeti, and then we can still threaten blocks with the Protector, so he probably just won't attack with Ash.
Stay together.
He does, that's okay.
Shield up.
These look like really good attacks for us next turn. Yeah, that's fine.
Fear beyond.
So how do we do this? We're definitely hooking in his Ash with a bonus. And I think we can just attack with everything else. The idea being, though, if we want to get War Chefs online, to make this a 6/6 to force us to block something little, or if we just want to detain this. I think I'm feeling better about just detaining it. This is a fast spell, so we're going to have to do it in combat, so he will get a block out of this. But otherwise, I think that's okay.
Run them through. These eyes see all. No one goes hungry. This would be a good winter.
Oh, and this overwhelms. Nice. He should have blocked down here.
Continue without me.
Bring me the call.
Don't have the
of an
mana to
ice-shrouded
Relentless
world.
Pursuit, but we should get a good one on our next attack.
The frost reveals all to me.
To see what this Anivia looks like. Oh, being able to bury our Anivia with a Relentless Pursuit attack? That seems huge. That's fine, we can take this 8 damage.
Something ancient stirs.
Okay, I feel like this attack has to just be pretty good. We can get like harsh winds, which would be annoying. But oh man, I forgot he got Ram Tusked. So let's still get this in and see what he does. We might Relentless Pursuit, we might not. I don't really care to lose any of these units to his Yeti.
Eat up, friend.
You'll make a fine totem.
Ooh, that looks nice. Do we just want... He's gonna play a card. I'm okay with this killing this thing. Then we'll have big units behind for his block next turn. This is all okay.
To the ice.
There is a chance he can deal with our egg, but we should have a barrier. He shouldn't just have direct removals on our egg.
In formation. Tall as a mountain and covered in ice.
Bank that mana. Oh, we just have to survive to our turn. And Anivia will kill him.
I told you.
Okay, I want to get the chefs down just to have an additional blocker. I think the only way this goes south is if he has the +3/+3 overwhelm expensive card.
Discipline and steel. I don't believe me.
Okay, I don't think he has it, so we just need to block his overwhelms as much as we can. I don't care if you die, you can block here. This is fine. Get this value block.
Meet them head on.
Okay. That seems all in well. We can lose to like a brother's bond or something, but surviving this should end the game.
Light the signal fires. Avenge me. A noble.
No. Should have for Demacian. Ugh. I didn't consider it. Oh, we're dead now. Shit. I guess Tryndamere can get us out of it. We still have some outs. Bright Steel Protector is not one of them. So let's go ahead and get you down
My
anyways.
shield is yours.
In case he decides to open attack. Like, if he was just playing straight Frey Lord, I wouldn't have cared about that one unit getting through. Because there's not a whole lot of units, or not a whole lot of just like Frey Lord cards that would make that bad. I was just too worried about him getting in with that one unit. So, this sucks. I think because we're just going to die on his turn. So we're going to have to rip this lethal. We're going to afford Demacia so this won't even survive an attack. This is bad. Maybe he'll still just block with the Bjerg and won't see a Relentless Pursuit coming. This does kind of look like we're just throwing the game away.
Protect and strike.
They're coming!
Yeah, we can't do anything with these. We don't have Harsh Winds in our deck or anything. It'd be cool if we had a deck tracker, but... Alright. I messed that one up. I didn't think of Avalanche, but what's it more likely that he has is, you know, any combat trick, or does he have Avalanche? And I think, you know, with him playing Noxus, that might have turned out to be fine. There's so many more cards that, you know, give +2 attack as opposed to cards in their combos being able to hit something on our bench. But at any rate, we don't want Ron-Tusk Shaman. I'd much rather have Flash Freeze. I'm kind of interested in this single combat. And then, do we have 2 Vanguard Sergeants? Just the one. I think I want to keep the Sergeant. I really like having that ability to have 4 Demacia come out of our deck. I don't think we really need Laurent Duelist's ability, because we already have so many challengers. So I'll pick up the single combat so we have another way to interact with their things outside of being in combat. Okay, it's not off to a bad start. The Protege does kind of the same thing as Fiora, so we'll see if we can't pick up some combat tricks for her.
One
Sure.
sprint for each crab I saw today. Tea for 2.
Okay, I just want to be doing War Chef stuff. We're going to be trying to boost this Fiora. I assume he's just going to play some unit here. If he plays like a Conspirator, he'll probably let us just attack. I think he'll probably just let us attack with this one here as well. I don't think he'll trade his boosted duo for a War Chef's. And if he does, that's fine. We're looking to get Fiora online here. I have to assume he's going to play a unit first. I'm kind of hoping he played a Zed, but Fiora gets scary for them at this stage.
2 steps ahead.
Because they don't really want to be giving us Fiora ticks on their turn. So I'd imagine he'll just be attacking with this. But I was incorrect. We're happy to
Is this supposed to be a
make all this happen. How bad is this if we get hit with like a Brothers Bond? Alright, we'll just take the additional 2 at this point. We'll wait and try to block with Fiora once we have access to combat tricks. Is he still thinking of Brothers Bonding? Sure. It is a scary life total to be at with him playing Darius, but yeah. We might be able to take over a little bit here. How much of it do we want to open with any units? I don't think so. We can play a Starlit Seer. Or we can, let's get this wolf online. We can attack the hare. Let's give this something to challenge his precious pet with next turn. And if he plays like, you know, a 4-drop or something behind, we can just ignore it. Since both of our units have challenger. Sure.
I will put on guard.
Strike without worry. Hang on, Cern.
Time for the
Draven,
main
sure.
event.
We can detain him if need be, but I don't think he's super scary at this point, but our life total is getting fairly low. I think I'd probably rather save this detain for a Darius, but he should only have one Darius, and we're just gonna die if we don't start doing things. The thing that sucks here is we don't have any protection for Fiora, and she's just gonna die to a spinning axe. I think we're gonna have to do this, and we're gonna have to detain his Draven, and then just take the 2. And then on our turn, we're gonna be looking to make more chef's attacks with Fiora. We really need a trick to where we can block something on his turn to get her a tick. We're falling pretty far behind here, though.
These are dangerous lands.
We need the chefs so that we can hit one of these 2 power things and survive a spinning axe. I think there's a pretty big chance we'd like to just be attacking with both chefs. He's really only down to 1 card here. So if we can not die, we should be in a pretty good spot.
Flavor and spice.
But I do think there's a pretty good chance we just die on his turn. But we may not need
Let them eat
Fiora to win this game. I'm gonna block this because I can never block it. Whereas I can draw units I can block these 2/1s with.
Can't fight on an empty stomach.
Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna be taking a hit here. Oh, I forgot this was detained. We're gonna have to block, so I'm just gonna get some units online. Anivia will be pretty good here. That's gonna guarantee a Fiora draw.
Best not ruffle our feathers. Back to our perch.
Forever watchful.
Okay, I think we're safe to attack with everything here. Don't really feel the need to play with this. Let's get our Tryndamere down.
The Freljord is a cycle of death and rebirth.
Ha! Then the Freljord is truly my home.
sizzle! Into the face!
For my homeland!
No one goes hungry!
We'll have to block it. I mean, he's gonna block with these precious pets, but
Endless cold.
a little bit short of just killing him, but we should have good blockers for everything. Tryndamere can block a fearsome if he plays something. And if he tries to be cute and open with another fearsome or something, we can entreat for. Well, we picked up a 3 power anyways. But
Says you.
this guarantees to get Fiora. Be 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can play everything if that comes to that. It'd be cool if I could see my deck to see what this would pick up, but I don't think it's a really relevant unit. I think I'd rather just go ahead and draw. It'll be a Wild Claw. Oh, both have Overwhelm, so it is somewhat relevant.
Watch and learn.
And I guess if he has a Might, he has a Might. He's just down to this one card that matters. Otherwise, I don't really care about him spinning axing anything. This is a safe block. We'll just get her back next turn. This is the only thing that can block
More
here.
than that.
So I guess Björn can block here, but I'm not super worried about Tryndamere dying. Okay.
Tomorrow we rise anew.
We'll just go ahead and do this to get the Fiora out of our deck. We'll still bank max spell mana. I don't think there's anything he has that can stop us from winning on our attack. So pretty sure we can just open attack and win here. Then, I was going to say there might be reason that we need to play Fiora to challenge her this, but it should just get killed by Anivia.
Batter him!
Death itself can't stop me.
Feel the sizzle!
Okay, I was going to say I don't think it matters, but I want one of my warships to have the attack, and then I wanted the second warship bonus to go into Tryndamere. Okay, and the next pick, this pursuit hasn't been as good as I wanted, but I don't want this Elnick. I would be okay with getting rid of Entreat. It just hasn't really done anything we want this game. And this will just pick up a reasonable unit. Okay, on to the next one. Wish there was a way to tell this to refresh or something. I have a pretty good idea of what's in the deck, but I do like to have it up for you all so you can kind of see what's there. If you're just jumping around on the recording. Okay. This is a pretty reasonable start. The chef's into Protege. I don't see much reason to Fiora. I was gonna say I don't see much reason to mulligan hard towards anything else. The only awkward thing that comes out of these is we can't get our challenger attack in on turn 4, so it's kind of a little bit harder to take over the board when we're on the even token.
Flavor and spice!
Callista. This is probably dead units or something.
Into the face!
Can't tell what I think that's Suit Up. That should be Freyler Demacia and then Demacia Shadow Isles with Callista. Not sure. Not quite sure.
Rome is on the job.
Okay. Pretty sure we'll be able to take that down
By
with
my
a post
honor,
next
you
turn.
must die.
Let's show our friends they know. Show me your best.
I guess we don't really have to. We can Stalking Wolf and let Fiora take down the Snow Hare, but I feel like that feels like something we want to do as a way to finish the game.
Batter 'em!
I think if he gets a spell out of my riposte here, then this is okay.
Counter and strike.
Can't fight on an empty stomach.
That wasn't even really like an ultra scary prom, but we've kind of got him backpedaling here, and I want to just be challenging his board. That seems like an extremely scary unit to play in the face of Fiora. We'll have to see what happens here. The thing that works out kind of well in these spots is we can typically control the board on our attacks and protect our war chefs by hooking in his big units. I don't think his board is quite scary enough to care here. We can get this Yeti online because our proteges don't have good blocks anywhere. And then let's see if he attacks wrong with Callista on the left.
We will not hesitate.
Maybe even this stage, it might even be with Callista at all. That's fine. Then this barrier.
And grace. Strike without worry.
Now we're still in a pretty reasonable spot. We can hook in the Poro with Fiora to try to get her third tick, and then likely doesn't want to block with Callista on any of our units back here. Oh, that game plan's over. It's okay.
Protect House Laurent.
We still have a pretty strong board. Although we are lacking in challengers on board now. We'll have to play 2 of them before we attack.
Break their spirits and their swords.
Oh, let's see what he does. I would be okay stopping with this one. Let's see if he just plays a giant unit and I need to sacrifice a protege into his, whatever his giant unit would be. You shouldn't be seeing 2 allies die before Callista's forced to block. I'll put her on the left as possible. But I will want to worship going into Callista.
Then kindle anew.
That's annoying. Okay.
Into the
Get this
face.
in now.
Eat up, friend.
Such naivete.
Whoa, did not expect this. He's out of mana, so he's gonna have something to do 1 damage to everything. Or at least a Vile Feast.
My time.
Sure.
Strength and grace, beauty in the play. It is easy, see? Strength and grace, beauty in the play. Eyes blazing bright as
I want to get the Bjerg online to draw just whatever big stuff we have going on, and then I'm pretty okay with just leaving mana up for Frostbite. I don't really care about him killing anything we have on board now. I think we're just going to be focused on getting things done with Tryndamere.
Fight me, I dare. My shield is my sword. We should be friends.
This is all fine.
vessel of the
We want to keep that 3 banked up. We don't super need it at this exact moment, but like what I'm saying is like we don't worry about the first Tryndamere death. It's about the second one that matters. But I want to have something online to protect him because I think this is really our only way to win the game now. Articuno is not great against what he's doing. I guess we could be giving... Oh, can't do it this turn. I forgot we could be giving Tryndamere a challenger. That's typically better doing is using Tryndamere to say challenge one of these poros. Let's see why you'd be doing this. Looks like you're just going to be making dead units with that.
Can't stop me.
hardly fair.
Maybe he's trying to make a Vile Maw behind this. Oh, Rasa, sure. What could be... Oh, we killed off his 1/1. I was going to say, what could be interesting is he's going to get +1 attack when he flips, and if we can hook in a 1 toughness, we'll go over the top for lethal. Okay. Not quite sure what's going to happen here. The single combat could be pretty good. We can still block Rasa with Bjork if it comes down to it. Let's get the Sentry up to just go ahead and try to cycle. I have to assume he's going to try to hook Tryndamere and do stuff with Rasa. We could go ahead and Frostbite single combat down Rasa, but it seems like if he's going to be hooking Tryndamere, he has some kind of plan. Oh, he's going to hit... He's going to... I just don't think we care about this. Oh, okay. That's all fine. Question I have now is if I want to go ahead and single combat his Brawn. He's not really doing anything, but we don't really have anything else going on. I'm really just kind of interested in using this Flash Freeze to save Tryndamere. I have to assume, like, even if... Oh, he's going to try to block with this. Oh, I did have Stalking Wolf, so I could have made that Challenger play. It's pretty scary, but I feel like there's a good chance that we get hit with... we get hit with a Frostbite here, but I mean the way he's playing these 3 drops to block Tryndamere with, right? So now at least our idea is we're going to hook in his 2 3s and then force him to block Tryndamere with Rasa. Okay. Fine. Just do it next turn. That does give up our ability to duelist Tryndamere. Oh, that's interesting. So we're doing this now.
Let us settle this with grace and civility.
So we're planning on attacking with Tryndamere hit flipping. If he picked up a Harsh Winds or something, this is gonna suck. But otherwise, I think this will be a pretty blowout Relentless Pursuit.
You could be so much more.
Okay, so who do we hook in?
My blade
We just need
calls!
to go ahead and do this. I want you to survive. So he can hook in again next turn. Put this here to see if that is that a trick.
Gotta believe me!
You would test my steel?
The wrong turn, didn't you?
Okay, sure. Okay, and then now, whatever blocks Tryndamere, we should just be able to trample over. Can't imagine him having like a back-to-back or something at this point if he didn't already do it. So we should just be able to hook in Tryndamere on this ethereal thing.
Follow my blade!
Can get brittle steeled here, which would be pretty bad. I think he would have brittle steeled on the previous attack if he had it though.
I'm not done!
There was probably a more efficient way to play that round, but we got done what we needed to do. Here, let's see, I'm kind of interested in brittle steel. We don't have any of the 1-mana combat tricks, and this, with only one drop on our deck, one drop on our deck, this should be active pretty often. It's just so good early when you're trying to do Fiora things. We have 2 detains, and that's the number I like. I don't want to lose any of these. And the war chefs are too good, so I think I'm going to be happy picking up this brittle steel. Okay, on to the next round. I think he's in the same deck stack that we are. That's definitely the Suit Up with Fiora Tryndamere. I think Braum does Suit Up as well. Anyways, we'll hang on to the Yeti because he's so good in your opening hand, and then we'll cycle everything out and look for War Chefs and our good cheap drops. Kind of an awkward start. Hey, the chefs, saving the day. Shaping into a pretty reasonable Fiora start.
Batter him!
It's kind of scary if he plays his own Fiora here. We don't have a great answer for it. We don't want him just dumping into our chefs, but this thing we don't care about.
Save your world.
Our Fiora is pretty good here. we're never blocking
Would you
here.
like to fear me?
And then we're hoping from this point forward he has to spend all of his mana on combat tricks to protect against Fiora, and then we'll eventually just, take over the board a little bit, getting like this cheap Yeti
Into
online.
the face!
Try me.
Eat up, friend!
Three, so I think we want the barrier here. That's really our only choice. That's okay.
Strike without worry.
This unit's not ultra scary. We can just walk up with the chefs at this point.
For the glory and beauty of House Laurent.
Puffed up peacock.
You will remember this.
Okay, same deal. We got a barrier, so it's good.
Strike
Should
without
really
worry.
limit the units he's able to play here.
Squire! You dog!
I'm going to play the Vanguard. Trading half a Vanguard for this Duelist is going to be pretty strong. And he's kind of in a spot to where, if he's not playing a 5/5,
Winter is the
then his units are going to be
Freljord's
pretty
true
weak.
ruler.
So even though we aren't really doing Fiora stuff this
Up
turn,
my
this is
spine.
pretty devastating to his board.
Feel the sizzle! No one goes hungry!
Like, we're essentially gonna be off the Fiora plan at this point. That's fine. Do we want to single combat this? We're not going to at this point, so we can let the combat happen. But how much are we even worried about this Shaman? We can just play a Yeti and single combat this down.
Laurents are born with blades in hand.
Does that change our opinion? We can just do it with the cavalry. Well, we need to do it on our turn so it doesn't lose health. But I don't quite feel like I'm worried about getting 2 for 1 by this. I'm gonna do it. This might be our last opportunity before he has mana back up. I can't decide because I think we're off of the Fiora plan. But if he's gonna present units here, he has a thing. Okay, that's unfortunate. So maybe we're back on the Fiora plan.
Ice runs in our veins.
That's okay, this board isn't the end of the world. I do kind of want to detain this. But we don't have great follow-up plays, but I really don't want him just getting Fiora for free. So I think I do need to detain this. As long as we can get our big units online, I think we'll be okay. But it's so awkward.
Against the Laurent? Ha!
Because I really want to load up Fiora with the detain. We have to detain the war chefs. But then with this spot, Fiora is going to be popped by the Shaman next turn. But then there's, like, if we just let this Shaman sit here, we're never going to be able to do anything about it. So Let's do this. Let's protect Fiora with the War Chefs. It's sucky detain. We'll let this come through. Not worried about this 2 damage. I've said we're off the Fiora plan like 8 times now, but may not be the case.
The frost reveals all to me.
Okay, so we can at least flip this now. We will get good attacks with the cavalry. Basically want him to spend some mana here. Like, it seems like if he has like a Yeti or something, he'll be wanting to play it. But, we just want him to spend mana before we play this Protege and try to take down his Blade Keeper. Or take down his, yeah, Blade Keeper.
She can.
But,
She's not
no,
impressed.
Ramtus Shaman. We want this. And that's our only reasonable attack here. Sure.
Sends chills up my spine. Ice runs in our veins.
It's just been a little bit ahead of us every stage of this game. But Riposte is hopefully a big pickup. He's played a lot of combat tricks. It's hard to believe he has a whole lot more of them left. I'm gonna Riposte this. I think it's really close to winning if he just has a combat trick. I don't care to lose you.
Your move.
If we draw another combat trick, there is a non-zero chance we can kill him with Relentless Pursuit next turn.
Too easy.
For the thrill of
Tryndamere.
battle.
Okay. I really need a barrier or something
The
here.
frost reveals all to me.
Detain. And what we might be able to do... Oh no, Fiora's... We have to get in a War Chef's attack with Fiora. But the thing is... This is going to bring up a 3-2. Because I was thinking of what we could do if we hook, or if we detain our own War Chefs to get that second unit out. But I don't think that's quite going to be enough. I think we're just going to have to stick around and detain his Tryndamere.
Strike quickly,
Let's see.
strike death.
So we need to do this. None of these other attacks are particularly good. More tricks, Jesus.
Not just flesh, rage incarnate.
We're so far behind now. I don't know what we can even draw at this point. We have to... If we just let this thing kill Fiora, we can detain here and block this. We can just kind of block this thing for a couple turns. I don't see how we ever win this game if we let our Fiora die, because we're not going to win through combat here. This is gross. He's just been ahead of us at every step of the game.
Sends
losing
Chills
it.
up
This
my
is what's
spine.
really taken us down, is we just haven't been able, like,
Show them what we're made
yeah,
of.
okay, we're dead. Like, everything we had to deal with that Blade Keeper, he had the answer for. It may have been different if we had the attack token first, and we didn't have these turns where it's like we just have to play Fiora and not do anything. But it's okay. So let's see. I don't really want these Blade Keepers. I'd prefer to have Brittle Steels. I think I'm mostly interested in this riposte for a single combat. We have we'll still have the 2 detains in one single combat, and I think these ripostes are what we're really kind of missing to turn our Fiora on. And I'm okay with having 3. Like, it's such an important combat trick because it's the one that boosts your attack. Tryndamere, is that the cloning deck? Are we gonna get Elnicked here? That's a reasonable start. Have the even attack token again, which is pretty awkward. Now we have to decide if we actually want to get this Sentry online, or just bank the 3 spell mana. I think we just need to get it online. If we had a trick in our hand, we could consider it. But I think I just want to get the presence on board, so if he plays, you know, like a something that we can't get Fiora in front of, then he may just kind of pass up on it.
Always 2 steps ahead.
Is he gonna Mystic Shot my Fiora? Huh.
My shield is yours.
I think I'm okay with this. Don't think he'll have... Like, he can play something behind, but it has to be something with 4 health. I guess Yeti has 4 health. So
Strike quickly, try me. Honor guide me.
still get everything in. I'd like to put damage on this. We want our damage to go on this on the attack and not the block, so that we aren't taking the overwhelm damage. Yeah, that's not good. We have a lot of problems with the Yeti's deck because we can't really get in there with Fiora. We do at least have a good Brittle Steel on this, and we can maybe take it down. And then if we draw into some riposts, we might be able to make the Fiora magic happen. As it stands, we're starting to fall a little bit far behind. This Tryndamere could be pretty powerful as well.
Such unrefined style.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Kinda okay with this. If he spins a spell on it, we still have Detain should it be necessary.
Too easy.
But again, this should really limit what he's able to put on board.
Discipline and steel.
Bring me the calm of an ice-shrouded world. Ice runs in our veins.
Okay, so I think this is how we'll end up winning the game, is with Tryndamere, pop something with Fiora, and then try to single combat down a last unit. I think we just want to get something else on board that keeps her from being frostbitten. So let's just get a big dude out. That's still a safe attack. He should have to do something about this.
The War Mother will unite us all.
And again, we may just be off the Fiora plan. Their units are all just so big that we may be switching over to the Tryndamere.
The frost revealed all to me.
Okay, that's a pretty powerful set of cards, but the thing that's unfortunate against this kind of deck is frostbites are extremely good against the things that we're doing. Let's see, I think we're probably safe to go ahead and detain this. Then he did play this. Fiora has a fairly free attack on it. And I don't want to play any more cards. I really want to bank these 3 spell mana. This attack isn't scary.
Let them eat so.
On down!
This is our homeland!
Okay, if we full clear his board, that'll feel pretty good. We definitely want to keep 4 mana up to protect Fiora.
My blade grows restless.
Can we do this with him tapping out? With her having 1 health, it's pretty scary. I don't think there's anything that can kill her at this point, although he is playing Mystic Shot colors. I'm a little leery just to run Tryndamere out, but I think
Who would face me?
it's safe enough. If this gets Mystic Shotted, I'm going to feel pretty bad, but I do believe this is enough to take over the game.
Do not stand in my way!
Because here, the thing that sucks with this is she can get Brittle Steeled,
Such unrefined style.
but if he tries to play a Frostbite spell, then I can single combat on top of it.
This would be a good winter.
Ugh. Oh shit, I just died from this. Ugh. Yeah. What happens if I single combat this with my Tryndamere? This retains Battle Fury, right? I'm pretty sure it does. And then he's just gonna flip. But it's not like we can do anything else, so let's have a learning moment here and see if this flips back to being a 9/9. I'm like 95% sure this isn't how it works, but this is really the only play we have here.
I'll never yield!
Yeah, he's just huge now. Man. That's what I was talking about while I like Battle Fury. It's just, there's so many times like you just get in for that, you know, kind of 8 damage out of nowhere. But damn. Alright, that was a decent run. We could have probably cleaned that up a bit and done a little bit better, but I know there's definitely a few spots in there that I need to go back and look at. But that's a decent little pickup. My only sad thing with these expeditions is I'm kind of getting caught up to the point now to where I can typically get in 3 a week because I don't spend my dust on anything. But this is really, I think this is just going to be like 800 dust and 600, and then, you know, plus from the pack like 750. So I feel like we weren't really in a spot to be saving up our dust. You know, it's just you kind of run out of runs that you're able to do. But we still have 2 built up for this week, so if everything goes wrong, we can still run. But I hope you enjoyed the run. The 5 wins looked a little better than the the 0 win before it, so it was at least nice to catch up a little bit there. There you have it. I should be picking up along with the expeditions tomorrow. I haven't played any constructed since I got into Diamond 1, but we are also getting close to Masters with this Jinx and Professor Von Yep deck. But there you have it. That was an okay Fiora run, and thank you for watching.